Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 74th episode of The Ruins of Warsaw. I'm Alexandra, and I'm the storyteller.
Hi, I'm Janina, and I'm playing. Oh my god!
We're
I'm
off to a good
sorry.
start.
Okay, I'm Dolores, and I'm playing Janina Conbrew. I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. I think it happened before.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Hi, my name's Faye, and I'm playing Beatrice Wozniak of Clan Malkavian. I got it right.
Yeah, like I didn't prepare myself, and that's what
I had
happened.
to think so hard.
It can happen. So
Yeah.
we're off to a good start.
We're professionals.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. We have partners with us, as always, taking care of the chat and of tech. And we know that, once again, we unfortunately had a bit longer break. Our scheduling seems to be all over the place due to life getting in the way of gaming, which is a sad truth about how things are. But we're glad to be here tonight and to continue the story of Bea and Janina. So we will start with a quick recap of what happened last time. Janina was at Hotel Bristol, where she was visited by Lucian Topolski, the former sheriff of the Camarilla, who expressed condolences for Janina's sire's death and also shared that he was worried about his lover, Dominic. Janina offered to help and keep an eye on Dominic, spend some time with him, try to help him fight with his emotions. And she consoled Lucian a little, although he seemed bitter and hopeless throughout the conversation. Janina left soon after that conversation to work at her lab with her ghoul Hannah and Magdalena, the Tremere, who is helping her. During her stay there, she spoke to former ghoul of Zygmunt Ray, the deceased Bruja Primogen, who now drank Janina's Vita. He advised Janina that she needs to protect her project through ensuring backing of influential people to make sure that she keeps control over what she is doing there at the hospital. After coming back, Janina indeed went to see Dominic and did her best to remind him to fight with himself and pull towards Lady Leokadia and to stay with her and Lucian, with the Camarilla. Dominic promised that he would try to keep going and resist the urge to return to the Zimishi mansion. And to distract him and console him, Janina asked him to teach her to dance, which he started doing. And they spent some time doing that. And when they parted, Janina said that she would come visit him soon again to keep an eye on him. He was grateful for her presence and help, but seemed pretty lost and hopeless. And he made Janina promise that if something happens to him, she will not let Lucian die trying to save him for nothing. The next night, after dreaming of her former lover Nastia, Janina left Hotel Bristol to feed and stay out for a few hours, wandering around, sitting by the bank of the river. On the way back, when she finally decided to return, she met Zoya, a former anarch Bruja, who heard about what happened when Janina almost managed to kill Zimovit, and advised Janina to get herself a blade to be more effective in fighting Kindred. They talked about their shared desire for vengeance, and Zoya told Janina that Clan Tremere will most likely ask her to participate in their endeavor against the Zimishi. She advised Janina to say yes if she wants her vengeance, because even though Tremere can't be trusted in most things, they can be trusted to want to kill Azimishi. And they agreed to have each other's backs if they go to perform that task. Meanwhile, Bea was in very different circumstances with the Sabbat. When talking to Nastya, Janina's former lover, she saw her sire, Felicia, across the flames, accompanied by Irmina, a Malkavian, wearing Bea's face and pretending to be her. She also saw that Felicia was distressed by seeing her there. But before any interaction between them took place, Arek tried to take care of Bea, enticing her to feed, to stay strong, which Bea did, and lost control, murdering a woman of a scared child, which she didn't really seem to notice much as something that happened, focused much more on the noise being made by the scared crying child, and then, having quietened him, joined Arek in dancing, not thinking about what happened. Eventually, Bea spoke to Felicia, who was adamant that Bea was not her daughter, to which Bea reacted by being hurt and pushed deeper into questioning her own identity. She debated whether she wants to be Bea, what does it even mean, who could she be, and experimented with disguising herself to look like the woman she just murdered. This brought a lot of joy to Danka, a young Sabbat Nosferatu, who thought it was a hilarious joke and congratulated Bea for it, in the middle of asking her about life in Camarilla, which she only heard about from her packmates. Bea also got to speak to Kasper Wozniak, her mortal husband, who told her that unfortunately she might be nothing, to which Bea replied by insisting she was love, but Kasper was unconvinced whether that can be a personality or an identity, and thought more things need to be added to it to be a person. He also told her about Beatrice Wozniak, his wife, their relationship together, and their son, who died of a disease during the war. And Bea asked him to remember their son for the both of them, as she knew she would forget. After that, soon, Bea was staked and put in a sack in order to be carried by Arek to Lady Leokadia's house. Arek tried to be gentle, which attracted mockery from the rest of the pack. And he was on his way carrying Bea, accompanied by a red-haired, beautiful woman whom Bea previously seen with the Sabbat. And that was where we ended. And that is exactly when we will pick up with Bea. Bea, you can't move. You are in a rather uncomfortable position, head down in a sack, your body twisted an unnatural angle. You feel the movement as Arek keeps going. You hear footsteps on the snow. He still tries to be gentle, but there's only so much that can be done under the circumstances. What's running through your head? How are you feeling?
Is he empty? Still hurting from both Sia's words and after learning that.
You're a bit quiet, Faye. Oh,
I will try and come closer to the microphone then.
that helped.
From learning about both Felicia and the death of Shimon, and I suppose uncomfortable as well, just I guess generally not feeling great.
No. Are you listening?
I think I do for a little bit. I do for a little while, but if nothing's being said or anything, then...
So, they're quiet at first. But after you left behind the cheering and screams that accompanied the Sabbath celebration, and you are in the quiet of the city, you hear the woman say to Arek, "We never met before, but you look like someone in need of advice." And Arek is quiet for a bit, then he shrugs, which moves you around a bit. But you get the sense it's just a habit, and you hear him say, "Not at all, I'm great, I'm back here." And the woman asks, "What happened to you back there with the pawns of the elders? Do you remember where you got those markings and how you got out?" And you hear Arek describe that the markings were put in by the Tremere that was assholes when they were interrogating him. Maybe to extract information or something, and they don't seem to heal. And then he recounts how you came to see him defying the Camarilla. You got in touch with Gravedigger and helped him get out of there. And the woman responds, "So she did. Got you out very easily, it seems." I see you guiding her around like a lost orphan that she is. Be careful with her, young one. Don't let her corrupt your soul with weakness. She radiates it. And Arek says, "No, well, she's still new. She can learn to be strong. She just needs time." There is a little bit of a pause, and then you hear the woman say, "You're so gentle with her, and you can't gently guide someone towards strength. Gentleness is just what the weak use to disguise their pathetic nature." But there will be time to discuss that further. I'll be watching you. Make sure you don't stray. And now Eric replies, I won't fucking stray. And how are you feeling? What are you thinking, listening to all this?
I feel weak. I feel pathetic. I feel self-loathing. I'm afraid that I'm going to somehow make him worse off by being around him. I feel a bit like a bad omen. And I think just as those feelings, as the sort of time and the frustration as I can't move or really do anything just builds, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this space, in this body. And so I would like to use Auspex and project myself to...
You can do that, but before you do that, roll your wits and empathy with difficulty.
Okay.
8.
Wits and empathy.
Oh, actually, I think it was just your wits for your derangement.
Okay. I have 110.
You have 110. Then, as you were thinking that you're going to somehow be a problem for Arek, you get this slight compulsion that begins to grow in you, that you should remove yourself from his company.
Okay. Try to find a way of making that
It's
note.
not like it's just a beginning of the thoughts, but it will be coming back.
Oh, good. Love that for me. Okay. Cool.
And you try to project.
Yes.
Then, where are you trying to go?
To the person I love.
To the person you love. Then roll your perception and awareness with difficulty 7 and spend 1 willpower.
Perception and awareness. Sorry, what was the difficulty again?
7.
7. Okay, after the ones, that is 4 successes.
Then you easily, almost like it becomes a habit, slip out of your body, leaving it motionless behind. But let's go to Janina first, sometime in the future. Janina, you spoke to Zoya after your walk, and you're returning into the hotel. You all entered the lobby.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, you were going to go to your room to find Hannah, who was having a nap when you went out.
You remember better than me, so that's what I'm gonna do.
So you head through the lobby, through the corridors, towards your room. And roll your perception and alertness with difficulty 7
2 successes.
No successes.
2.
2, okay. So as you're coming up to your room, you start hearing Hannah's voice through the door, and you hear her practicing reading. You hear her like slowly composing words, stumbling on them. And do you stop? Do you enter?
Yes, I think I will stop for a moment and just like listen, give her like a bit of time, just enjoy listening in on her practicing, smiling behind the door.
You hear her slowly, painfully read. You think first lines of an article about a wave of murders in Warsaw and the Workers' Party declaring a struggle against the criminals, sabotaging, and she really stumbles on the word like sabotaging, recovery after the war. And then she pauses a bit and she reshuffles the pages and she reads something else. And it is an announcement of a concert that will take place in a week in Warsaw, assembling musicians for the new national orchestra. And she again stumbles on the words and names of people involved, especially, but she's trying.
Oh, well, I give her a bit more moment and then I knock.
You hear the newspaper being folded and put away, and a bit of nervous shuffling before she comes up to the door and unlocks it.
Hey.
Oh, Janina, it's you.
Are you having fun?
Oh, she glances to the paper. I was just, it's stupid.
No, it's not. I was listening in and you're getting really good.
She goes a bit red when she hears that. I don't know.
No, you're doing great.
You're so smart and I just feel so uneducated. Please.
You're not. You still have time to educate yourself and you're doing great. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And you see that she just goes more red as you're talking.
I just smile and sit on the bed.
She sits next to you.
What else have you been up to while I was gone?
Not much. I went to get some food. It's okay. And you see she's a bit, again, embarrassed and maybe wants to bring something up but doesn't want to bother you.
Is everything okay?
Well, I can't really cook food for myself here. And eating here in the hotel is too expensive. And
I know.
I can get stuff on the street, but I'm beginning to run out of money that you gave me.
Okay.
I should probably get a job or something again.
You don't have to. You are helping me in the lab. I'll figure something out. Maybe maybe I could find like some like gas cooker. I'm not sure like what's appropriate for the time that I could like bring in the room for like that she could cook in the hotel room.
You
like
could maybe find something. You have a feeling this could go wrong.
Like that she could set it on fire?
Well, if there's an accident, it could be a bad one.
Okay. Okay, then I'm not saying anything, and I'm just telling her that I'll figure something out, and that she doesn't have to worry, that she doesn't have to go to work, that she also has to sleep sometime, and that it's fine. That I'm figuring something out for her.
She nods her head and smiles. Says, "Thank you, Janina. You're so good to me."
Of course, I want to feel good and to be well taken care of.
And as you're talking, there is a knocking on the door.
I glance at Hannah and then ask, "Who is it?"
You hear Magda's voice.
Oh, okay.
Janina, you're back.
Yes, come in.
She comes in. You see her dressed in a white blouse and a long navy blue skirt. She smiles at you, says, "Hello, Hannah," smiles at her as well. But then she looks back at you. Janina, I was hoping to find you.
Of course.
Well, it's a bit unexpected
Mm.
for me, but my Primogen asked me to ask you to speak with him.
Of course. I've been told that that might happen.
You've been told?
Yes. So,
all right.
Does it have to be now?
If you're able to.
Yes, of course. I'm not sure what time is it, but if it's not like
still like, I mean, you've wandered around, so it's like a second half of the night,
okay.
but there's still
But if
time.
It's not like
yeah, you spent quite a lot of time out, but not the full night.
Okay, in that case, I just say, Hannah, that I'll be right back.
She smiles at you and just says, "Don't worry, I'll be all right.
Okay.
Not going anywhere else."
Okay, good. And I follow Magda.
And you follow with Magda. Meanwhile, well, not meanwhile, earlier, actually, I am, doing something weird here.
Have separated.
The timelines have separated, but I plan to bring them back.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah. You leave your body, focusing on someone you love. And suddenly, you see an elegant room. The room itself doesn't look familiar, but the style of it does. And you see the prince of the city, Katarzyna, whom you might not recognize as such, but there is a familiarity around that woman sitting opposite Antoni. And I'm going to make a roll. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You don't appear to respond to you at all. Somehow.
I'm shocked.
And you see that the prince is looking serious, but not stern as such. There is a bit of a smile, a kind one on her face, as Antoni, looking very serious and very focused, says, "You can trust me, my prince. I am committed, first of all, to my duty." And you see the smile on Prince's face widen. a little bit. And she says, and I wouldn't expect anything else of one of our clan. Hearts will always try to sway us, but we can't let them dictate our actions. Many people rely on you, Mr. Bieletsky. And Antony bows his head a little and says, I will not forget. And Katarzyna just smiles and says, I know I can trust you. That's why I've chosen you. It is getting late. Go get some rest. The next night will be busy and dangerous. And Antony thanks her, bows, and leaves.
I'm able to, then I'm
Yeah, you can follow.
I'm drifting after him like a strange ghost.
You see him walking along the corridor. Roll perception and empathy. Oh, I'm rolling not very well tonight.
I take it my difficulty 6.
Yes.
Does hidden pain apply?
Yes.
Then 6 successes.
Yeah, he had 2, so they're way better.
Okay.
And so you see, as he's walking away, he looks serious and determined, although he looks very much like someone who is trying to hide something. And you see a turmoil inside him, a worry, certain shame, certain uncertainty, certain frustration, the weight of emotions on him. But also the determination to stick with some decision that is uncomfortable to him. And this deep seriousness that runs through his whole person and his whole bearing. And you see that he's thinking, trying to connect things, trying to find some solution, but is not finding it yet and is frustrated.
If he ends up in a sort of more private setting and not in a corridor,
he will eventually reach his room.
in which case, can I speak to him telepathically?
Yes. Roll your intelligence and subterfuge with difficulty 5.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Another 6 successes.
Yes, you can talk to him. You can say whatever you want.
Read in the dictionary if I wanted to. I don't. So just very gently, almost like murmur into his mind. You seem tense, my love.
He looks around. Surprised.
Jump scare.
Clearly, brought out of his thoughts. And you see certain guilty feeling in him and certain discomfort, a bit of bitterness. And then he just says out loud, Bea, are you here?
I'm here, my love.
What's happening? Are you safe?
As much as I can be, I suppose.
What does it mean? Where are you?
I'm changing location at the moment.
Do you know where you will be?
And I sort of hesitate when he asks me that, because something about where I'm going, I'm a little hesitant to tell him. But it doesn't really matter, my love. Currently I'm here with you.
I miss you.
I miss you so much. And I wanted to talk to him, but he seems as though he has so much going on with himself right now. And I feel selfish even wanting to take up more of his headspace. And sort of in this strange astral form, I almost like sit down next to him. And my love, could you remember something for me?
Of course.
Thank you.
And you see he's kind of, as he's talking, he's looking around the room as if still trying to see you, but he can't. His eyes just move past you and around the room, not realizing where you are.
I was told a story earlier this evening, and I'm scared that I'm going to forget the important part of it.
Tell me, I will remember. I'll note it down if needed.
Thank you.
And he reaches for some papers and a pen. Tell me, I can write it down. I'll put it with the rest of your notes.
Thank you. I was told about the life of Beatrice of Wozniak. But most of it doesn't really matter.
It does matter, Bea. It is a part of you in a way.
I feel like a stranger looking at, I don't know. Anyway, I was told that she had a son. Typhus took him during the war. I had to ask what his name was. I don't even know why it hurts when I don't even remember what he looked like. I don't remember what his first words were, or if he even spoke his first words at all. His name was Shimon.
He writes it down, you see.
Thank you, my love.
Is there anything else?
Yes, although it's not related to that.
What's going on, Bea? I see there's a lot going on. How did you find that out? Oh, it doesn't matter. You see that he's surprised. He's kind of wasn't prepared for any of this.
Fair enough. I've been talking to many people from where I'm at currently. Felicia was there. She told me I'm not her daughter.
What do you mean? Your sire?
Yes. She's replaced me.
Yeah. Listen to me. And you see that he struggles with it all, but he almost pushes some of the emotional things to the side and now focuses on one thing that he decides to tell you. And he says, I can't imagine what it's like, everything you learned and what you've experienced and what you've seen there. And there will be time to talk through it and think and grieve and whatever you need. But you need to get out of there.
I can't come back.
Of course you can come back.
What? Not after what I've done.
What do you... Oh, do you not remember, Bea? No, it's all part of the plan.
What?
But you need to come back.
What? Well, I can't at the moment. Not now, anyway.
Tell me. Tell me everything you know about where you are, where you will be.
Well, currently I have a stake through my chest, so it's a bit hard to move.
All right. Where were you? Do you remember?
Yes, and I know where I'm going. And then I sort of pause and look at him, and I'm suddenly scared and concerned for him. My love, you're not going to try and find me, are you?
I will see what I can do, Bea. But I need to know where to look for you.
I can't let you go there. My love, no,
What if I don't go myself? I'll find someone. I'll make sure you're safe some other way. Listen, Bea, there's plans in motion, there's things happening. There might be opportunities to get you out, but I need to know where you will be to tell someone to look out for you.
I can tell you where I'm going, but they shouldn't go after me.
Where are you going?
To Lady Leokadia?
Zimishi.
Yes.
And he nods his head, and you see there is a worry there, but there's mostly like a calculation, like he's thinking through some things.
Promise me you won't go there, my love.
Not unless my duty takes me there.
I suppose that's as much as I can ask for. I feel like I'm falling apart.
It's no wonder. Everything you told me, it sounds like a great burden for one person. But you will work through this.
I look at his face and study his features and almost like trail a hand down his cheek, although I can't touch him. Thank you, my love.
Be careful. Don't do anything risky. If you get a chance, Bea, run.
I'll see what I can do.
As will I.
I love you.
I love you too.
Then I slip away and return to myself. Somehow almost feeling worse than when I left. I feel like I shouldn't have spoken. I don't. He says there's plans, and that suddenly feels familiar, and it also feels wrong, and my head just feels messy, like it's full of holes. And I barely feel like a person.
And you are again swaying one way and the other in an uncomfortable position. And Arek and the woman who accompanies him are quiet right now. You just hear their steps on the snow. But the following night, Janina.
All the time traveling.
So much time traveling. Janina, you follow Magda, who takes you at first towards the Elysium, but then she enters into one of the back corridors where some of the kindred have their offices. She asks like how you're holding up just on the way.
I'm okay. Everything's considered. I think I'm doing fine. Worrying about Bea.
No wonder. I hope this conversation will go well.
Me too.
Do you know Eliza?
Yes. Yes, of course. I know her.
She will be there. She will translate. The
Oh,
Primogen doesn't
Okay.
speak Polish yet.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you for informing me about that.
It will be all right. He's used to communicating in this way for the time being.
Okay. And what language does the Primogen speak?
I don't know them all.
Okay.
He's from Austria. He speaks German. I know he speaks Russian.
Okay.
I think he speaks Hungarian too. And some of the dead languages. I
Yeah.
would guess. I know his sire is urging me to learn those.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe if you be a kindred long enough, you can learn all of them as well.
Well, that would be nice to be able to just do that.
Yes, that would be a nice time passing.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll get a chance.
Yes. We'll study together. I would like to learn a new language.
Well, I can always help if you ever look to learn Latin.
Oh, that sounds very hard, but also
It's
very
not.
useful.
It's very logical.
Well, we
Useful
can talk about that.
for medical texts.
Yes. It seems very useful.
Well, perception and empathy as you're walking with her.
What's the difficulty?
6.
Okay, then 3 successes.
Then you see quite clearly that she's genuine what she's saying about the languages and hoping it goes well. She's also worried about you.
Aww.
She's trying to not show it, but she's not doing a very good job of it. And you have a sense she knows a bit more about what is going on with the conversation than she told you.
Okay, but I don't want to put her in an uncomfortable place, so I'll just pretend I don't see it and just engage in the language small talk.
And you arrive in front of one of the door, and she says, "We're here.
Okay.
I'll make sure it's okay." And
Thank
she
you.
knocks. And you hear her ask in Polish whether it is okay for you to come in. And you hear Eliza reply after consulting with someone that yes. And then Magda says to you, "I'm gonna have to go find my sire. He wanted to see me."
Of course.
Good luck.
Thank you for letting me, accompanying me here, and I hope everything's okay with you as well.
Thank you.
Talk later.
Thank you. And you see the guilt in her as she leaves you. And you enter the room. And you see there, sitting in an armchair, a man looking to be maybe in his late 40s, with graying black hair, dressed very simply, all in black, and just trousers and a shirt. And near him, in another chair, is sitting Eliza.
Okay, I will nod to the Primogen and smile at Eliza.
He stands up as you enter, and Eliza does as well. And he says something in German, which Eliza translates as welcoming you and thanking you for coming, apology for troubling you in this sad time, an expression of condolences for the tragic death of your sire.
I will nod my head and thank you. Thank the Primogen for condolence, and then say that it's no trouble, that I want to help avenge my sire and help the Camarilla.
You see, he smiles at that, and he gestures for you to sit in front of him, and he says, "I certainly understand that sentiment. It is a pleasure to meet you, Miss Shivak. I He introduces himself for this as well as Friedrich Reisinger,
Okay.
which
I will
Elisa
never
translates.
remember.
No, it's fine. And he looks to you and says, he says that he understands this desire. My first question was to be, what are your intentions now? But it appears you have answered it already. I understand somewhat. I have also lost people to the Zimishi, and know that they are savage and cruel creatures who will not stop at nothing unless we stop them.
Yes, I really don't want to lose anyone else. And I think of Dominic and Robert.
That is my hope as well, that we can eliminate the Zimishi threat in this city.
Do you have a plan?
Not, he said. There is a plan in motion. As I understand it, I know that your friend, Miss Wozniak,
Yes.
has been of great help in setting things for us to act.
Yes, and I nod my head.
I want to assure you that we remember her and intend to return her to us safely.
Out of character, I thought safely, but if it's gonna be in the casket, who cares?
Roll perception and empathy. Why not? Why not?
Okay, I have no
Difficulty
successes,
6.
so I have no successes.
I'm curious how much if you're gonna see.
Hey, can I, the player, sus check the Tremere?
You, the player, can think whatever. How many successes did you get?
None.
None. Well, you can't read him at all.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But he says that, seeming genuine, but what's going on, you don't know. He says, in order to succeed in our plans, we need determined people to help us eliminate that problem.
I really want to help, so you can count on me.
He smiles. I'm very glad to hear that. It's good to see such fearless spirit in the young people of the Camarilla.
Yes, Camarilla by day, Anarch by night.
That's what he says. He says, I fear it is becoming rarer and rarer.
And I try to give him a genuine smile. Well, my main motivation is saving the people I care about and vengeance. I don't care about Camarilla much, but he doesn't have to know that.
No, you smile at him. Roll your subterfuge and self-control, actually.
I'm gonna spend it for that. I don't need drama with the Tremere.
Yeah.
2, 3 plus the 1, so 3.
3.
Yeah.
So he gives you a smile, and you can't read his face.
Oh no.
And then he says, but the point I want to stress to you is that Camarilla currently has many different concerns. My concern, and as I understand it, your concern, is a certain Zimishi who took up residence in our city.
Yes.
I am focused on this,
Does he?
and I need your help.
Do I know that he's like? Is he talking about Lady Leokadia, or is he talking about the one that killed Daniel and Mara?
You get the feeling he's talking about. Well, he might be talking about both.
Zimovit or
Yeah, or yeah. He says, I need people with similar focus, so that they won't be distracted by other tasks that also need performing, but are not the priority for us.
I understand, and I want to devote myself to this matter because it's personal to me.
Smiles. I understand, and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You encountered such loss.
Thank you. Me too. I'm just mad I wasn't able to finish him off when I could have.
I've experienced that as well, many times. But it is possible to destroy them, and next time you won't be on your own.
So, what exactly is the plan? Well, my part of the plan. Where
we will attack the residence of the two Zimishi. We are gathering information through our agents.
Okay, it's the one that I have been in already in the past.
Yes, exactly that one. And a daring feat it was back then as well. But this time, we have a surprise for them to make our task easier.
Sleeping Agent Bear.
I can't give you the exact timing. So, if possible, try not to wander far away and be ready to go at the short notice.
Okay, thank you. I will be here. I'm sometimes going to the hospital to work on my project, but I can let Magda of your clan to handle it in the next few days, or the time
she
that
can
it's possible.
Take care of it for the time being, and once we deal with the fiends, you can of course resume your very valuable work there.
Thank you.
Is there anything you require in the meantime, in preparation?
I have to find a weapon, a knife, or something.
That's not an issue at all. I'll
Okay.
make sure you're provided with one.
Thank you. That's all. I think can take care of the rest.
Excellent. It was a pleasure to meet you, Miss Shivak.
It was a pleasure to meet you too, sir.
I look forward to working with you.
Me too. I'm sorry, I'm just imagining it's like a work contract, like in the office.
It's not.
Yes, you have been hired.
It's not like that at all.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
but I'm imagining that.
Depends on the job you apply for, I suppose.
But I will nod and politely excuse myself and say goodbye to Elisa.
And you leave. And what are you thinking? How are you feeling after that conversation?
I feel good because I feel like that finally someone's having like the same like a goal as me, and seems like they will be able to like provide for the task. And I don't know, I just feel more optimistic about it. But yeah, my main priority is saving Belle, making sure she will come back safe, and hoping that we will destroy the Lady Leokadia and the Ziemovic. I'm sorry.
Well done.
Their name always like gives me anxiety. Because I want Ziemovic to be gone, to avenge my sire and Mara, and for Lady Leocadia to help Dominic to be free of her influence. So it's personal for me. So I think I'm like, I'm a bit not scared, because like I'm not like afraid of dying. It's more, I don't know, I don't want to disappoint. And I hope nothing happens to me because of Hannah. I don't want to leave her behind, and Mr. Potocki and other people I care about, but I'm optimistic that I will make this happen no matter what.
And where are you headed?
I think I'm gonna go sit at the balcony, so I have like some fresh air at the lobby, or where is the cafe?
Oh yeah, in the lobby, and there's
if
like
it's
balconies above it.
I just want to like sit for a moment, like alone, just look outside.
Yeah, so you sit there looking outside, and the mostly empty city. It's quite late in the night now. Earlier, there, you return back into your body. You feel the steps, the shaking, the monotonous movements, the discomfort in all your body, and the discomfort in your mind, from what I heard as well. And eventually, there is a change to the pace of steps. You hear a gate opening. You hear more footsteps. You hear some voices speaking in the language you don't quite understand. Maybe Russian, maybe Ukrainian, maybe another Slavic language, but you can't quite make it out. And then you hear the woman who accompanied Arek say, "Please put her away somewhere for the time being." And you feel someone else take the sack where you are, and this person is not so gentle, and carries you somewhere. You hear a male voice speaking to another guy. You don't understand what they're saying. You hear a bit of a question, a bit of what the hell in their voices. And finally, someone makes a decision, and then you're being carried away, and you feel someone, I think, walking down the stairs, and it is much more uncomfortable as you're moving in such a way. And the sack is removed from you. You're kind of dropped out of it and positioned. You're somewhere in a room. It's really dark here. You can't really see. It's basically pitch black, unless you try to use your senses to see right now.
I'm able to, then I guess it will just kind of automatically heighten my vision.
Then you can see vague shapes of two men placing you somewhere. The place smells of blood and faint smell of rot. And as you're like half sitting, half lying there, you see them walking away and lock some door. And doesn't really let through much of the light. And you feel you still have a stake for your heart. And you feel that you are propped up by something warm that feels like skin and flesh.
Oh, good.
And as the footsteps move away and their voices move away, you begin to hear the groans of pain and labored breathing, some in the same room. You don't know how big it is as you are. Some further away, you hear something dripping somewhere. You get a sense of vague shapes moving somewhere on the other side of the room, but you can't really make out what they are.
Hmm.
And you're
Good.
left there on your own.
Great. I think I was just kind of almost mentally drifting for a lot of the walk, and then I was sort of slowly like half listening, but almost not really aware of it, like as people arrived. And now that I'm here, I'm slightly more back in myself mentally. And I'm sort of watching the darkness very, very closely, but there's not much I can do. So
There is not much you can do. And it is quite late, and you begin to feel yourself drifting off to sleep. What kind of things is your mind going back to as you're here watching the darkness? Does anything stay with you from the events of the night?
Felicia's face, the expression she had when she looked at me, her words that I'm not her daughter. I see Antoni's face, looking sort of determined. I see Casper's face as he told me the story. I think of dancing through the flames with Arik. But I think I'm just drawn back to the sort of empty feeling inside of me. And the darkness that's around me.
And eventually, you drift off to sleep. And it will be a new night for you. So you can spend a blood point, and you can regain a point of willpower,
Woohoo.
and you can roll for your nightmares.
Woohoo! To get this eraser to actually erase things, that would be great. Oh, good, it's going to be absolutely useless. Wonderful. That ain't great. That's a no. It's not a botch, but it's not
Okay,
great.
it's 0. All right, so you will have a nightmare as you fall asleep.
Great.
But a night later, Janina, you have been sitting there for a while, just on your own, on the balcony. Is there something on your mind apart from vengeance?
worry for Bea, thinking about what she's going through right now, if she's safe. Thinking about Daniel, being sad. About Mara, being sad. Thinking about Hannah, hoping, like, I think when I think about Hannah, it's like mix of like smiling, thinking about how she's reading, trying to learn reading, and seeing her. In a way, it almost feels like, I don't know, if like I had a child and watched her like improve herself and grow up. I know it's not the same, but it's as close as I will be able to like feel like that. So like that makes me smile. But then I also like imagine what's gonna happen if something is gonna happen to me. And I'm worried that I will leave her alone if something happens. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to talk to someone about possible safety of Hannah in case something happens to me.
And as you're sitting there, you hear over your shoulder, well, 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 I didn't expect to see your sorry face here. And you see Roman
Oh, I knew it
just
was him.
comes up and takes a seat next to you. He's disguised as the sort of tired, slightly hunched forward man, not putting that much effort into disguising himself, but not in his Nosferatu face.
Okay. I give him a smile. Hey. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. Look, I'm fully recovered, back to fucking duty.
Well, I'm glad you're recovered. Not glad about you being back to full duty.
Tell me about it.
I know. You must be tired.
I'm not tired. I'm fucking terrified of... Well, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. So what trouble have you gotten into?
Well, yeah, no. Does he know about Daniel? I didn't speak to him.
You didn't speak to him.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna say, well, I'm sure you heard about Daniel.
I did. That's
about Nastya, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's fact. He was a good man.
He was.
Seemed decent.
He was.
Troublesome, like your whole lot, but decent.
Yes, he was amazing.
I heard, so I wanted to check in on you and see if you managed to, well, how deeply into the shit you managed to dig yourself as a response to a tragedy.
I'm trying, but I don't know. I think I did fine for the last few days.
So now,
have
dangerous plans that will deprive me of a sight of your very serious, reasonable face.
Well, yeah, I might get into trouble, but at least it's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be alone.
Oh, good. So you're bringing someone else in with you.
Well, it's more like I'm going on with someone else.
Do I have a chance to talk you out of it?
No.
If I bash your head really hard against that railing, will that help?
Yeah, that would help, but you know.
Yeah, really, that will knock some sense into you.
But let's not do it. Let's not cause commotion.
Let's not. And he then looks more serious. and says, "Listen, Janina, I get it. If I just get it. It's painful stuff. I know you. You need to do what you need to do. Just be careful out there."
I will be. And like I said, I'm not going alone, and I hope that you will bring Bear back and make the city more safe for us, at least.
Aren't these the lofty goals?
But hey, since you're here, you didn't meet my ghoul, Hannah.
You mentioned her, I think.
Yes, I will introduce you someday soon. But in case anything would happen to me, please take care of her. Don't let her be hurt.
Roll your charisma and persuasion with difficulty 7.
I'm spending another willpower. What did you say?
7.
But what? What's
Charisma and persuasion.
Okay. Sorry, I was.
No worries.
Okay. And 4 successes.
Then you see him struggle with himself, and then he says, "Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I will. I can't say no to you. I know that whoever that girl is, she doesn't deserve whatever shit those fuckers in the Camarilla will do. But for the sake of your good friend Roman, who has a lot on his plate and limited vita, you come back and you take care of her."
Yes, that's what I'm planning to do.
And then he looks more serious again. "But I'll make sure she's okay.
Thank you.
In a way that I can."
I know. Thank you. I feel like I saved her, then put her into this position, and I don't want to just abandon her. She's very smart. She's learning to read, and she's being a good help to me in the lab. So I'm sure in case anything goes wrong, she can be useful.
Janina, I'm doing it for you and for her if needed. I don't need a scientist. I have Yuzek, and he's a sorry side and a useful one if you want someone to snoop around. But I'll make sure she's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know I can count on you.
You're
always here when things are hard.
Well,
how are you
for all the good that it does me.
How are you holding up?
Well, can't you tell by my cheery face? And then he sort of laughs a bit and then goes more serious again. I'm worried for you, Bea, my clan.
I know.
Sorry for those we lost. But I'm still here and determined to stay here.
To stay here? I don't think Clan Nosferatu could be as glorious without you.
Yeah, the glorious Clan Nosferatu. I'll share that around with my friends down in the crypts. That will brighten the night.
Well, I'm glad I made you laugh.
You're a good one, Janina. I know I talk a lot of shit about you, but that's out of love.
I know, tough love.
Yeah.
You're family.
Those who do you, there's a different type of mockery. for those you love and those you despise.
I know that. And we're family.
Yes, I suppose so.
Mm,
And those were the days, right?
yeah,
Before we got
I miss-
back into the safety and
I miss all
protection
that.
of the Camarilla. He says, and he sort of laughs to himself.
I miss all that old times.
As do I. Sometimes. Although it was shit in many ways too.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I don't know. Less dramatic, I guess.
I suppose so.
But yeah, but then I found Daniel and we came here. Then I lost Mara, lost Daniel. I just want to make sure I won't lose Belle.
I really hope whatever that girl got herself into, you or someone can get her out of.
I will do my best. I can promise you that.
He nods his head.
Okay, it gets pretty late right now.
It does. And you start actually feeling a bit tired.
So I'm gonna go and check on Hannah. Well, I hope you stay safe on your adventures and just don't be a stranger.
Take care of yourself.
And I'm not sure, in case we wouldn't see each other again, know that I love you. And I give him a big hug.
He hugs you back. We will see each other again.
I know.
You make sure of that.
I will, but just in case.
He gives you a firmer hug at that.
Aww.
And then you separate and you
yes,
return.
Yes.
What's running through your head? How are you feeling?
I'm happy I ran into Roman and that we chatted and that I told him about Hannah. That makes me feel a bit calmer because now I know I can trust him. I know that it would be harder for Hannah because he's Nosferatu. I'm sure that I don't think I've shown her any Nosferatu. So I will make a mental note to myself to go and introduce her to Dominic and just explain it to her. So she, in case something happened and she ended up with Roman, she wasn't scared. But yeah, I think that's takes my mind more from the whole thing happening with Tremere and Tsimichi for more and more personal stuff, I guess.
Yeah. And you get back to the room and you see that Hannah is sleeping.
Well, I tuck her in and just lay on the other bed.
You lay on the other bed.
And I'm thinking about Bea.
You think about Bea and with thoughts of Hannah, Bea, Roman, and all the things going on. You fall asleep as the sun rises a day later than Bea currently. And I think that's a good moment to take a break.
In the future.
In the future, yes. So we will be back in about 15-20 minutes. Please stay with us to continue the story and hopefully bring the timelines together. We'll see you after the break. Bye. And welcome back. Thank you all so much for staying with us. And let's continue with what is going on with Bea and Janina. And let's go back to Bea. Bea, you are running through the ruined city. You feel the rubble as you stumble on it turn to ash under your feet. And you're running. You see the air fill with smoke around you. You feel like you could almost choke on it, even though you don't really breathe. You hear loud noise of bombs and airplanes above you, and you're calling out for your mother. You know you need to find her. This need is tearing at your heart. There's nothing else. There's just the hope that you will find her. And you keep running, passing various people, seeing their faces, and they're all wrong. You don't recognize them. They all blend into one. And you're running, calling out, until finally you see her. You see Felicia in the crowd, moving, at first towards you, then to the side, and you call out again, and she doesn't appear to hear. You see her glance around, and for a moment your eyes cross with hers, and you're certain she sees you, but she moves her head, not seeming to recognize you, unmoved by you completely. And she keeps walking as you try to get to her, but the people are pushing you in the opposite direction, and you stumble and fall deep into ash. And you're trying to move through the ash to find the way out, to find a way to stand up, to get yourself up and push against the feet that start stamping on you. And as your hands move, reflected in the light of the fire that is raging somewhere around you, you see shards of a mirror broken amid the ash. And you, as you're moving around, you see your reflection, and you don't recognize yourself. You see that you have no face, and no one could have recognized you. You wake up. You are again in complete darkness. You hear something crawling. You don't know how far from you. You hear a noise as if fingernails were scraping on the floor or walls. Something is dripping. There are groans of pain, soft, muffled screams. There is snoring somewhere, there's labored breathing. It's dark. And you get the sense none of the sounds is very loud, but because they're the only ones you can hear, they fill your ears, seeming quite loud, quite overwhelming.
Take it, I still can't move.
No, you still have a stake through your heart.
Right. And I'm almost sort of watching the shadows. Or I suppose if it's dark enough, it doesn't even feel like there's shadows, just a void. I'm both very unsettled, but also this doesn't feel like the worst thing that could have happened. I don't really know how I got here. I don't. The thing that just comes back to me is Felicia's face and words that hurt me. And so I just wait and listen.
You wait, you listen. Do you use your senses again to have a chance to see anything?
I guess yes.
It doesn't help much in the deep darkness, but you get the vague sense of where the door is. You think you see movement, not sure how far from you, of something moving on the floor. You can't quite make out the shape, but it feels wrong. There's too many limbs, and the movements seem unnatural. The angles at which the limbs bend seem wrong. There's just something deeply wrong about the shape you see.
Great. Slightly regretting looking at that. I suppose I end up... I don't think I drop the sort of heightened vision, because I do want to see if it suddenly comes towards me, although not that I can do much if it does, but if I could increase my hearing to see if I can hear anything outside of this room.
Roll your... You can increase your hearing, but roll your perception and alertness with difficulty 8.
Okay. I have 2 successes.
So the first thing that happens is, as you increase your hearing, the groans of pain, the scraping, the dripping, all becomes louder around you, seeming closer, as if it moved towards you through your increased senses. And as you focus, you hear voices speaking in the language you don't understand. Again, it sounds like an Eastern Slavic language, but you can't really make out what is being said. You hear several men talking, and then the sound of one of the voices, so a male voice. There's something familiar about it, something threatening, something that fills you with whatever a memory of Zimovit would fill you with. You can tell me.
Fear.
Fear. So yes, you hear that voice that you can't understand what he's saying. But the sound, the recognition of something familiar fills you with fear. And you hear the sound as if pieces of flesh were being ripped apart, and this sort of sound of a slab of meat being thrown to the floor, and blood and sort of something dripping, and the smell of blood is ever present in the air, and the smell of rot coming from somewhere too.
I think I slowly let my senses drift back to normal, so it's more quiet. So there's just the void that I'm looking at rather than the shapes in the darkness.
And you're left there
I'm
in the
wondering,
void.
I'm wondering where it is that I am and how I got here.
And the time passes as you wonder. Later, Janina, you dream of being with Nastya. You're sitting together over a book. You're explaining to her your experiments and what you're doing. You are in the lab. You're showing her around, offering her some of the blood that you collected, and she laughs and takes a little bit from the jar. And as she drinks, she pulls you closer and kisses your lips, and you feel the blood, the cold blood on your tongue and lips as you kiss her, as her arms rub themselves around you. And you're happy and you're close. And at some point, she bites your lip, and you bite her lip, and your vita is mixing as you are kissing close together, and you feel the power and the sweet taste of her vita, and you want it, and it's so good, and it's so right. And then you feel like you miss it, and with this feeling of absence, you wake up.
Okay. I think I'm gonna be lying down for a bit, thinking about that, waiting for the feeling to subside.
So the feeling doesn't really subside as such, but you can try to focus on other things.
Yes, I mean like more that I remember what she did and
Yeah.
that I'm mad at her.
Yeah,
And-
you are mad at her. Yeah, you remember that.
And I remember that I'm going to be going to the Sabbat mansion. And I think I just try to shift my thoughts away from Nastya to more pressing matters. And that is Bea, finding Bea, destroying the Simichi, and hopefully coming back.
And you think on it, and eventually you hear Hannah's voice very softly, shyly, asking, Janina, are you
Oh.
awake?
Yes, I am.
Oh, sorry, I didn't wake you up, did I?
No, you can't really wake me up. How are you?
I'm all right. I had a walk during the day, got some food, and she gestures and she has some bread there, some, like a little bit of cheese. You see some like very tiny piece of a dried sausage.
When I see it, I remember that I should like find a way to get her money. So yeah, but I'm glad that she found some food, and I just sorry, Michael is doing his nail claw
Oh, no.
pedicure right now, so and it's very loud.
I can't hear it.
I don't know. He always does it like he's about to eat his leg. Okay. And I'm gonna just watch her eat and just ask her about her day and just stuff like that.
So she basically tells you that she slept quite long because she was up during the night with you. Then she had a look around. She picked up a new paper. She practices reading. She got the food. And then she waited for you to wake up.
I smiled at her and I tell her that I would like her to meet one of my friends. I want to like go to see Dominic because I think I promised him I'm gonna see him again.
You did
for dance lessons and stuff, and I want to bring Hannah with me. And yeah, and I'm gonna try to gently tell her about the Nosferatu.
What do you say?
Well, first I'm gonna be talking about like Dominic, like his character, and that he's doing well, that I just want to be there for him and stuff. And then once I'm just like, I'm not like gonna give her like details, but I just tell that he went through something like traumatic and that he has like some, I don't know, PTSD. I know it's probably wasn't diagnosed back then, like I don't know.
Shell shock, I think, would be the term.
Okay. Michael, puść mnie. Sorry, I'm being bitten. Niech mnie.
Well, this is the game for it.
Yeah, I have to hide my hands. And then I'm just gonna tell her that Dominic, that he's like me, but that there are kindreds that are disfigured by what the curse and the that he can sometimes look normal, but it's not his real look. Michael so clean. He's now biting everything that is in his way. And that she shouldn't be like scared that they are just like us, but just I don't know. I will probably like tell her how she would act with like people who are disfigured in like car accidents and stuff. So it's like can be like a similar thing. Just for her to not be scared that they aren't different from us. It's just the look.
She listens, and at some point she says that, like, yes, I know there was someone in my village who's been in the fire and got part of his face burned. And she tries to take this in. You have a feeling that she kind of accepts what you're saying, but it's, it's a lot new information. And I'm
very bad at explaining as well.
She believes you, but she just like almost she can't grasp it because she doesn't have the experience to like put context to everything you're saying.
I just want her like to treat Dominic just like normal, no matter how he looks.
Of course. Well, I'm happy to meet him if you'd like.
Yes, of course. He's a very good friend, and he's been through a lot. And he was a ballet dancer. And
oh, right.
And he's very talented.
Okay.
Maybe you two get along, and he could also help you, teach you. I'm actually asking him to teach me some dance moves right now.
Oh, well, I'm sure you're really good at it. I
don't
really. think I would be. That's not really for people like me.
There is no people like you. You can be anything you want.
I'm glad you think that.
Of course.
Well, we can go meet him if you'd like.
Of course, I really want to.
And do you take her?
Once you like finish eating.
I mean, she's been like finishing it. She mostly had the food there, like that she just brought into the room. For later maybe. I know you managed to spill water on yourself.
Like, I don't know, I'm just drinking and it happened. Like, I don't know, I'm the world worst. I don't know. I'm just so clumsy. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I'm sorry. The clown of the stream.
No worries. I'm sorry about
That's fine.
spilled water. So do you take her water to go find Dominic?
Yes, I will.
And you leave and start walking to look for him. Sometime before I forget, It was a new night, so you
Yeah.
can lose your blood and regain
on.
willpower. How much blood do you have now?
8.
8, okay.
So it's not bad.
Yeah, all right. So you had to find Dominic. Yeah. As you are staring into the darkness around you, you still hear, now not as loud as when you extended your senses, but still present sounds. Something is crawling. Get this sort of slimy sound of something moving through the floor. And something is scraping more violently as if climbing it. You hear sharp scream of pain and you feel whatever you're leaning against that is fleshy and warm shift a little bit, but not enough to throw you off balance. And as you're there, roll your perception and occult with difficulty 7.
Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes.
All right, and as you're looking into the darkness, you start seeing colors in it. Colors that look familiar, almost instinctively recognize that they are colors of auras that accompany all living things. And you see them all around you, feeling this place, and all are colored with fear and pain and despair and nothing else. And as you're looking, you see the colors, the emotions, the thoughts behind those colors being pulled and separated one by one, strand by strand, color tone by color tone. They're split apart by long, sharp fingers that cut them off in the middle, rearrange so that the thoughts start flowing in different patterns, the emotions start connecting in different ways. They're unraveled and woven again to form something completely new, but still deeply filled with fear and pain. And as you're looking, because you had a very good roll your perception and awareness with difficulty 8.
Perception. Does either, sorry, perception and awareness, does either insightful or something's in my head count?
No.
Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4 then.
Nothing's in your head right now, but remember that you have it for the future.
I will.
So 4, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So as you're looking, it lasts. You don't know how long you lose yourself in looking at how a whole being of a person is being rearranged to think and feel in a completely different way to what they might have thought possible, and screams and despairs. Within the strands of colors, thoughts, and feelings, you see the way they move around, the way they shape, forming an omen of things to come. You see that the patterns traced by the long fingers reveal the future of things that were constant, unraveling and being rearranged. You get the sense of something painfully ripping through mind and flesh in a sudden flash of light. You get, well, that's sort of what you get from the omen. You get the feeling of change coming violently and through pain, a change and danger. You don't know to whom. And bringing anger and violence and clash. And you're back in the darkness.
Still unmoving, still stuck. And there's part of me that tries to reach for my journal, but I can't. So
No.
I'm just there, seeing the strands of people being unwoven and reknitted. It almost reminds me of weaving. Something about, I think I might have heard someone once say something about fates. But it's not a comforting thought. And I'm left deeply, deeply unsettled. And feeling pretty helpless.
And the time passes. You don't know how quickly or how slowly, as you wait in the darkness. A night later, Janina, you arrive at Dominic's room, but nobody answers.
Okay, well, if he's not home, then going.
I mean, you know he often used to be in the attic.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can see that I'm tired because
Yeah,
I
no worries.
think of that. That I'm gonna tell Hannah that he might be in the attic,
She just says, "All right,"
and we're going there.
and you go to the attic, and you see that the door to the room where Dominic usually sits, it's not like fully open, but it's partially open, and you hear quiet voices that you recognize on him and Lucian.
Okay, I will snoop just a tiny bit to know what they are talking about, and depending on if it's like personal stuff.
Do you try to look in, or
I think I first, like, if I hear and recognize them before I like open the door fully, then I just stand there and just listen in, but just like a moment.
Do you use your extended senses to do that?
Yeah, I could.
Then roll your perception and alertness with difficulty 6.
Well, it's a butch.
You can't really make out anything.
Okay, well.
And as you are leaning against the door, as you're standing there, you lean against the door, and it starts to close with this like really ear-piercing screeching.
In that case, I will like quickly fully open it.
And you see Dominic and Lucian are sitting there on the floor. Lucian has his arm around Dominic, who just sits there, his head a bit down, looking ahead. And they both look up as you open the door with a screech. and
Yeah.
stop whatever conversation they were having.
I just smile like very guiltily, and I just say, I just didn't know if I could intrude. I came to see Dominic, but if you two are busy or want to be alone, I'm just gonna go.
Dominic kind of glances to Lucian. Lucian glances to him and to you, and he says, "Don't worry, Janina, you're not interrupting anything. It is good to see you." And Dominic just nods his head, looking at you. If you two are happy to spend some time together, I should check in on my child, but I will be back soon, he says to Dominic.
Thank you. I bring Hannah out from behind the
And
door.
Hannah looks in.
I just wanted to introduce you to Hannah. I think I told Dominic about her. I don't know.
Dominic stands up. Lucian stands up to leave, and as he's passing Hannah, he gives a little bit, a slight nod and bow. This is a pleasure. Lucian Topolsky. And now I'll leave you to it.
I think they know each other. Because Lucian came to my room when she was there.
Oh, she might have met him. That's true.
Yeah.
So then he just nods to her and leaves. You're right. She was there at the time. So he leaves. And
I remembered something.
Dominic sort of tries to stand up and says, it's good to meet you. Janina mentioned you. And by the way, he is not wearing his Nosferatu face. He is disguised.
Okay. I'm sure Hannah's happy about that.
Hannah just looks and says, yes, Janina mentioned that you were friends.
We just came. I wanted to see how you're doing, and if you maybe have time for us to give us a dance lesson. If you feel like it, of course. I was telling Hannah how talented ballet dancer you were.
Dominic smiles and all your perception and empathy.
Oh no. Not doing great. One success.
One success. Let's see how he does. He also has one success, so it's a roll.
Oh no. A roll off.
Roll off.
That's better. 4 successes.
Yeah, he's 2 this time. So you can actually see he does stand up and he's trying. It's very much like he's seeing you is pleasant. When he sees Hannah, you don't think he has anything against her, but he's just a bit taken aback, and suddenly it becomes more of an effort to put on the face, which he kind of tries, smiling. And when you mention dancing, you feel like he tries to make himself do it, but it is difficult. And then when you start praising him more, you also get a sense of there is this hurt, like he remembers something and he feels worse.
I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at comforting him.
Well, you have insight into him right now.
Okay. Well, if I see that he's like, I will try to change the topic, and I say, well, it doesn't have to be right now. We can just chat and.
No, I can show you.
No, you don't have
some
to.
Steps. It's all right, Janina. And you would know because you rolled well that it's not really that he doesn't want to teach you to dance. It's more that he feels comfortable with you, not really knows what to make of Hannah and how to be around her.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm gonna just place my hand on his shoulder and tell him, you can be yourself with us, with both of us. I told her about your clan and everything's
all right.
okay. Just don't feel like you have to put an extra effort. Just be yourself with us. Anna's
Well,
a good
myself is
person.
not doing super well right now, as you know.
I know.
He says that he kind of, leans against the wall with not
That's
much
why
energy.
we are here, just to help you
Hannah
forget
says,
a bit.
I'm gonna roll for Hannah for this.
Poor Hannah, I wouldn't want to be in her shoes, just like being there
Hannah
and meeting new
looks,
people.
and she says, like, I can go. I have things I can do if you two want to. It was nice to meet you, but I know something's wrong, and if you two want to spend some time together, I can take care of myself. She says, and it's almost a question as she looks to you to check if
Of
it's
course,
okay.
like I know then, like look at her and Dominic. Of course, I just wanted to introduce the two of you. I want Hannah to be introduced to all of my friends and people I love and care about. But of course, I know she's busy as well, and I don't want to put you in more stress, Dominic.
Dominic sort of smiles, and there is something that amuses him in this sort of smiling through despair sort of way, and he says to Hannah, "It is very nice to meet you. I am, as you probably noticed, Janina's rather gloomy friend." And Hannah just says, "That's all right. It's good to know you, and I hope that when you're better, we can spend some time together." And she's like asking looking with question to you to try to figure out what she should do.
And I just like smile and well, you can of course do whatever you want, Hannah. If you have things to do, you can of course leave and you're your own person.
I think I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
see you later, and I'll see
yes,
you, I'm sure, Dominic.
Yes, I will talk to you in a room because I have some like work-related things to talk to you about. But
No
everything's
problem.
okay. And I just wave as she leaves awkwardly, and I just look very guiltily at Dominic.
She leaves, and Dominic looks after her, and you have a feeling he is, well, it's not really feeling better, but he's more at ease, less guarded now.
And I look at him, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I shouldn't probably just bring her here without like notice. I just thought could be better for you to meet someone else, someone new, and I also want her to meet. She's scared about a lot of like kindred because she doesn't know them, and I want to introduce her to my friends so she felt more at ease. But it's okay. She has she has work. Don't worry about that. Just know that she's a good person. And if you tolerate me, I'm sure you can tolerate her too.
He kind of smiles joylessly at that and says, "She seems like a very nice person, Janina. I'm afraid I am lousy company right now."
You're not.
I was sitting here with Lucian since we got up, and how our conversations look like right now. He's
I,
trying to get me to hold on, and I'm crying into his sleeve to explain why I can't. And I try, but I keep talking that I can't because I guess saying it to some extent makes it not happen.
I'm sorry, it's so depressing. I'm sure it must be depressing for both of you. But I hope things will get better for you in the future. I'm working on that.
How so?
There has been some plans, but don't worry about that. Just know that.
What kind of plans? And you see this immediate, like,
oh God, I should not be allowed to talk to people.
I'm gonna actually make a roll. You
It
see
does-
an immediate worry in him. Janina, tell me.
Everything's fine. Don't worry, Lucian's not gonna be involved.
But what are you planning to do? Are you
I'm
going
not
to
sure.
be safe? Are you see that the asking about your safety is subterfuge?
Oh no. Then I say, yes, I'm gonna be safe. So don't worry.
Janina.
It's not my. I don't know any details. I just know that
Janina,
something will
he
happen.
touches your arm. Make another roll.
I really should not be allowed to talk to people.
Okay. So you feel yourself drawn to him, looking at him, and you are under the influence of presence. As he asks you, Nina, I'm really worried about you. Please tell me, what are you planning? And you know that he's using it, like, but you feel yourself really wanting to tell him. Do you want to resist?
Yes, I will try to resist. I don't want to like stress him.
Oh.
Well, the fact is that I don't know much, so it's not like.
Yeah, but you know something.
I don't want just to stress him extra. I think at this moment I'm just like, fuck it. What did I do?
So what's your current willpower?
8.
Roll 8 dice with difficulty 8.
Okay. 8 dice. Okay. 4 successes, 2 10s and 2 9s.
Then you can spend a point of willpower to resist the effects of this wanting to please him, to reassure him, to tell him.
Well, I will do it, but I will try to make it seem like I didn't, and I will tell him that there is like a plan to kill the Simichi, but I don't know any details.
So you say
it's
that.
Mostly true.
Roll your manipulation and subterfuge. Because you are trying to hide some stuff, right?
Okay, I have 2 7s and 10s. I don't know what's the difficulty?
Difficulty would be 6. So
okay,
3
then
successes.
I have 3 successes.
Well, I'm gonna roll for him, for his perception and empathy.
Well, I don't know much else, so I don't know what else he could.
Right. So he doesn't seem to press further, but you see. Actually, I have another roll. You see now a mix of worry and relief in him, and he drops presence, and he says, "I'm so sorry."
That's fine. It's okay.
And he takes a step away. "I'm so sorry, Janina."
That's all right. That's okay. I know.
I don't know what's going on with me. And he just sits on the floor, hiding his face in his hands. Or like, I know, it's just...
I'm just gonna sit next to him and just hug him. Everything's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I will be safe, and I will try to make sure you're gonna be safe too in the future. Just make sure you stay put here and you take care of yourself.
All right. And you see that it's not that he's lying to you. He doesn't know himself if he's gonna be able to, or if he's gonna want to do that. He's just replying to you out of habit at this point.
Lucian should literally just like stake him and leave him until like she is gonna be killed.
Use bear as an inspiration.
Yes.
Possibly. What are you doing?
I think I just keep comforting him that everything's gonna be okay, and just I'm not gonna be mentioning it again. And then after a while, I think I will just try to change the topic to something else. I don't know what could be interesting to him, like outside of like dancing. Maybe I could like.
You can small talk with him about
something.
life and how things are going.
Yeah.
He's not really like, he's engaging somewhat. He's more like listening to you than talking. You have a feeling he is very distracted.
I think by
some thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna be telling him about Hannah, about how she's learning to read, and that maybe when he's better, he could like help her dance as well.
Roll
and
your
stuff like that.
Charisma and empathy with difficulty 9.
Well, I have 1 success.
1 success. So he does engage with you a bit and listens. And you still see that he is distracted by the thoughts.
I feel very guilty about that, to be honest. But I'm trying to not get back to the topic. I just want him to know that he's not alone, and that he won't be abandoned, and that I will make sure I'll do my best.
How long do you stay with him?
Let's say an hour.
An hour. And then do you leave?
Yes, then I will just like ask him if he's okay.
Yes, I'm going to be all right. Roll perception and empathy again.
If he runs away.
Difficulty 6.
Okay, I have 2 successes.
Then it's a roll-off.
Well, 3 successes, 3.
He seems reassured.
It doesn't seem reassuring.
Not saying anything. And he says, I'll be all right.
Okay. I'm leaving, but I feel very guilty, and I still worry, and I just hope I can find Lucian maybe. I'll probably look, if I don't see him like on my way through the hallway, I'm gonna just sneak into the Elysium to see if he's maybe there.
He is not there.
No. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna be guarding Dominic. No, I'm joking. I think I'm gonna go feed.
All right. So you leave.
Yes.
Hotel Bristol to go feed.
To be goofy.
And
then go feed.
All right. And okay. So the night earlier, Beatrice Wojniak.
Or whoever the hell I am now.
Or whoever the hell you are. You are in the darkness, time passes, blends together. You don't know where you are. You don't know what time it is. And suddenly you feel something licking at your legs with several tongues in a mouth. And the mouth kind of moving on your flesh, as if something was trying to bite you but had no teeth.
Oh. Given my not being a fan of touch at the best of times, this is awful.
It is pretty awful.
And I can't even flinch.
And you can't flinch, and you feel it there, going more violently for a moment, frustrated. It can't, and it can't feed. And roll your perception and occult with difficulty 7, as you're there, not being able to respond.
Sorry, what's my difficulty?
7.
7. Okay. I have 5 successes.
All right. Okay. Well.
Oh, good.
Then you're looking at whatever it is, not being able to move, but just catching it out of the corner of your eye where it would be. And you see again this aura filled with pain and despair and hunger and longing. And you see the essence of whatever this creature is being assembled out of different parts coming from different living things, torn apart and reassembled into this creature here who hungers and suffers and is in pain. And you smell blood around you, and you feel in the air, in the atmosphere, in the walls of this house all around you, the pain, feeling every corner, every inch of the space, spilling out of the windows, and all radiating from an unmoving heart, shaped like a strange flower. And you see around the heart a large ribcage, and you see a silhouette of a dragon of twisted bones and crimson veins, with intricate bone patterns running over its muscles, with its wings woven out of a material of veins, formed into a tapestry draped upon intricate filigrane structure of bones. You see all the pain radiating from the heart of a dragon that remains unmoving above it all. And you and the bodies around you, everything you are, everything you could be, is deep beneath, drowning in pain.
It almost feels as though the pain is sort of seeping into me, into that sort of empty space that I've been feeling, and it's overwhelming. And maybe if I had bodily control, I might scream, but I don't.
You can't, and something is still munching on your leg, and eventually moves off, having ripped your tights.
And once it stops touching me, the distress becomes a little less intense, but still feel, I can still feel just the pain throughout the walls of this place. Just all around me. It's like it's in my skin now.
And you're left with this feeling, which doesn't really go away as the time passes. You still hear the groans. You smell the blood and rot around you. And eventually, you start feeling sleepy again.
I think I feel grateful to be able to drift away. And I just wait here until sleep takes me.
And you drift away into sleep. And it's going to be another night for you. After that wonderful night.
Oh, yay!
You can spend a blood point, regain willpower, and roll for your nightmares with difficulty 7.
Woo. Kidding me. Oh my god.
I had more dice. Didn't help me. Still 0 successes.
0 successes. We'll get back to you.
Poor Belle. She's just left there, being munched on, having nightmares. Honestly, I'm not surprised.
This wasn't the kinky vampire biting I was promised.
No, it was not a vampire.
Where are the orgies?
Janina, you are leaving Castle Bristol to do some vampire biting.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you want to find someone on the street.
Yes.
And jump them and feed.
Yeah.
Then roll your wits and alertness with difficulty at this point 7.
Two successes.
Then it doesn't. Well, you spent a little bit of time wandering around, and you have to move a bit further away from the hotel towards the river. You see the river that's frozen, and the moonlight reflecting off it. You see some birds on the now leafless tree standing solitarily above the water, the frozen water. And a bit along the riverbank, you see a man sitting there on just a bit of rubble that's lying there, smoking, sighing a bit, looking over the frozen river, looking at the birds.
I'm gonna sneak up on him.
Then roll your dexterity and stealth and your celerity. Difficulty 6.
Well, 1 success.
So you try to sneak up on him, but the man turns to have a look at you, and notices you there, raises his eyebrows a bit, nods to you in acknowledgement.
Then I just ask him for a cigarette and if I can sit next to him.
He rummages through his pocket, takes out a packet of very cheap cigarettes, and offers one to you.
Okay.
Takes a match, lights it for you.
Okay, then I'm just gonna sit and smoke, pretending to smoke.
And you can smoke, it just does. not much for you.
Yeah, I know. I just I never like did it in life, so
And he says, tough night.
yeah, just a lot of things with friends and family. What about you? Work?
No, missing. Family and friends who are gone.
Know the feeling.
It would have been my wife's birthday today.
Oh, wow. Now it feels really bad. um,
But, well, everyone in the city has plenty of such stories, I'm sure.
but that doesn't make yours less important or less tragic.
No, I miss her every
Tell me
day.
about her.
And he tells you that he, before the war, was a cobbler repairing shoes, and his wife helped run his shop. They got married a few years before the war. They had a daughter who was born just before the Nazis invaded. And he talks to you about his wife, whose name was Helena, who was very well organized person. He says he was always a bit absent-minded. He would have forgotten where he put his tools if left to it on his own. But she kept everything on track and was really good with maintaining the everyday running of the shop, and was really
Well,
his
now I'm attached to
better
him.
half.
I'm not gonna be able to drink from him. Well, I think the more I know about him, the less I want to feed from him. So I think I'm just gonna finish the cigarette, thank him for the talk, and just leave. I'm bad at being a vendor.
And he says, take care of yourself.
But I'm also bad at being a person. So
he says, just take care of yourself. I
I
hope
will.
the next year will be better.
I hope so too. Hope you find happiness. Thanks for the cigarette.
Just nods to you and takes out another cigarette and continues
And
smoking.
I'll just go to a different alley.
So you go to look for another victim. Earlier this night, Bea,
Hello.
you are running through a city as the buildings tremble around you from the bombs that are being dropped. You see flashes of light around you. You remember something about the flash of light, something important, but then it's gone. And you want to find your mother. You're shouting her name, but everything around you is crumbling to ash. You see another bombs being dropped on the city, and there isn't even a fire. As they touch the buildings crumble, and you see people running around you as you try to push past them, and you see the people start crumbling around you. You see their skin falling off and muscles being torn off as they are disassembled around you, and you slip on somebody's tissues, fall head first into a pile of skin and intestine and blood. It fills your nostrils, and around you you see all the organs and tissues and bones start moving as you're lying in a pile of them, wrapping themselves around you, tearing at your flesh, tearing at your features, disassembling you so that you stop being yourself and anything holding you together becomes undone, unraveled, as everything around you crumbles to ash and you forget who you were looking for. You forget who you were. There is only pain and despair that fills your mind as you wake up in the darkness.
Stare into the...
Sorry? You went very quiet there.
Stare into the dark void around me, and I presume I can hear the dripping and the moaning.
Yes.
The scratching and crawling.
All of that.
And more. And I just feel that sort of pain emanating from around me and in me, and I just kind of drift in it for a while, I guess. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to see or feel. Simply is this space. Is this feeling. I guess... Sorry.
No, continue.
Could I activate aura perception?
Yes, definitely. Roll perception and empathy with difficulty 8.
1, 2. 2 successes. Yes.
So you see around you not as many as in your visions, but still within your eyesight, several auras of living things. They look partly vivid, partially faded, like the kindred auras in this ones, indicate a ghoul, and some are just vivid auras, and they're all filled with pain and despair and fear.
I think I spend my time just looking at these auras and I guess memorizing them isn't the right word, but just allowing them to become familiar to me.
How do you feel about being here? About what you're seeing?
It's almost hard to describe. It's pain and sadness. And almost, well, I suppose since I'm in here with them, feeling some of what they're feeling, there's almost like a sort of feeling of camaraderie is not the right word, but like some sort of, like there's some similarity here, but also differences. I'm not as afraid as I was yesterday. This now feels more familiar, like this is just where I am now. So fear isn't the right word. I think sort of low level unsettled, but in a way that's starting to be familiar.
And you settle into it as you wait in the darkness, looking at auras filled with pain and fear. Janina, you're searching for another victim. Yeah. Roll your wits and alertness with difficulty 8.
Okay. Oh, I have such a good roll. 5 successes, 2 10s, 2
All
9s,
right.
and 8.
Then you start wandering around looking for another victim. And quite quickly, you turn into some of the, well, what remains of the streets. You try to find a lonely person. And quite quickly, you come across a young man who is walking at brisk pace, whistling to himself a bit, warming his hands, clearly not having gloves, moving quite quickly, not really looking around, trying to get somewhere. He's on his own, there's no one around.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna do my usual stuff and I'm gonna sneak on him.
Well, roll your celerity, dex, and stealth, difficulty 6.
Okay, this time it's better. 6.
6 successes. No problem at all. He doesn't notice you
Karma.
at all as you very quietly, quickly, using your inhuman dexterity, sneak up on him, grab him, and bite into his neck.
Yes.
And you feel his blood pouring into your mouth.
Nom, 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 nom.
How much do you take?
I'm gonna take 2.
So you take 2.
I was thinking.
And you leave him there. And where are you going next? Heading back to the hotel?
Yes, I'll go back to the hotel in case the Tremere will need me. And I also want to talk to Hannah about the fact that I'm not going to be going to the lab for a few days, upcoming few days, so that she's going to be there with Magdas.
No problem. So you start heading towards the hotel. You get into the area that has a little bit more movement. Then you get to the street where the hotel is, but you're a bit further down along the river. So you start heading back. And what your perception and awareness? Difficulty 9.
I have no awareness. So
then roll your perception.
What was the difficulty?
9.
Yeah, I didn't have it.
So you don't feel anything. But suddenly, as you are in the street, you hear the voice in your ear and you feel someone standing behind you saying Janina, and you recognize Jemovit immediately.
Okay.
And he says, stay calm, there's a lot of people around, and you wouldn't want them to get hurt, would you?
Then I will calmly turn around.
You turn around and you see that he is more inconspicuous than usually if you not look closely. He's tall, he's a bit taller than you. He's wearing a long leather coat and a leather cap on his head. There's something, like, if you don't look too close, he just looks like a person looking. If you look into his face, you see there's something too angular, irregular about his face. You see underneath his cap that his skin is braided. He didn't remove that. And he still has no eyelashes, no brows. Just very, the brows are only indicated by the bone, which is more pronounced.
Okay. I'm trying to remain calm. And
How are you feeling?
I think I feel calmer than I would think that I would. I don't know. I'm just like, I didn't expect this to happen, but it's also not the least thing that I was expecting to happen. So I'm trying to be content. Like, if we were alone on the street, I would probably try to run, but since we aren't, I just try to remain calm and try not to get anyone else get hurt.
He gives you a smile. Now, don't worry. I just want to have a conversation.
So talk to me then.
I misjudged you, Janina. You are too good for the Camarilla. You are a killer, a vengeful and fearless one. Magnificent, he says, and he leans towards you, almost whispering it into your ear.
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just I'm not comfortable with him being so close, but I'm just not saying anything to this.
What are you thinking, though?
I'm angry. I'm angry. I just can't take my anger out on him.
Are you trying to hide it?
Yes, but not. I'm trying to hide it, like, from the people that
Okay,
are,
yeah.
looking at
You're
me.
standing. The people aren't looking.
Yeah.
They're looking from the distance.
Yeah, I know,
as
but
they're
it's
past.
like, if someone looked at me, they would just notice that I'm uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
they wouldn't probably see that I'm
Yeah.
angry. But if he wanted to, I'm sure he could see that I'm angry, because I'm not hiding that much, because I don't care what he thinks.
He smiles
scared of him.
as he's talking. See, even now, you're not begging, you're not running, you're not trying to find a place to hide. You'd fight me if you could, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
And he smiles almost in delight. I knew that. The others ran like cowards, but you fought with the abandon worthy of the Sabbath. What do you say, Janina?
Are you inviting me to the Sabbath?
Well, what do you say? Aren't you tired of all the scheming and lies and pathetic intrigue around you? Everyone pretending to care for others, but really looking out for whether they can lick Prince's ass harder.
I think that makes me chuckle. I try to remain serious, but I probably do chuckle at this. But
as you chuckle, he does smile, and there's a bit of joy in his eyes.
Well, I'm not saying I'm happy in the Camarilla, but to be honest, I don't want to be killing people and doing all the stuff that you do either. So I'm tired of all of you. So,
well, everyone goes through this before they ascend, and I know if you focused on it, you would ascend so quickly. You have the capacity in you. to let your instincts drive you.
So, what do you want? Do you want me to go with you to the Sabbat?
If you're willing.
Let's go then.
All right then.
Lead the way.
What are you thinking at this moment?
What I'm thinking is that I want to see Bea, and I don't really want to join the Sabbat.
Yeah.
But I hope that hopefully the Tremere will come there someday, maybe, and then I'll turn on them on the Sabbat. Like, I don't know. I don't want, like, if we were alone, I would like run, but I don't know.
I'm assuming you try to hide your duplicitous
Yes.
intent.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I definitely spent the willpower.
Okay, roll your manipulation and subterfuge. Spend willpower. I'm gonna roll perception and empathy.
Well, I have 4 successes plus 1 from the willpower.
That's
I
5
hit,
successes.
so 5 successes.
He has 3. So you so he smiles, looks at you. Let's go then. And starts walking.
Well, I follow
You
him.
follow him. Hiding the lowly Camarilla intrigue in your heart.
Oh, I don't care about Camarilla. I don't care about the
I know.
Sabbat. I just want my Bea to be back.
I know. So you're
and I'm
heading,
stupid.
with Zimovit away.
First,
There.
I settled Hannah's
Mhm.
fate.
You got your last will and testament he sorted out before you had to do that.
Yeah.
Right, hi. Meanwhile, this mess.
I'm sorry I stress you out.
No, it's great.
It feels
The door opens.
Someone's
You hear
quite jarring.
footsteps. The door opens, scraping on the floor. You see the silhouettes of 2 people coming in, looking, as you can tell, pretty much like, well, familiar, vaguely. Actually, you don't remember, but vaguely familiar. Like you've seen these types of faces before, but not quite. And as they pick you up, not putting you into the sack again, but not removing the stake, you see that they look quite similar, with blonde hair and blue eyes. And they carry you up the stairs.
Do I see any of their auras as I'm sort of jolted to looking at them?
Yes, they're quite content. You see one of them looks a bit stressed, maybe a bit anxious. Another looks like with this hunger and longing, like he's missing something and longing for something. And they carry you up the stairs into a room. You can't quite see exactly. You see a wardrobe in a corner. As you're being carried through the floor, you see the same white staircase and some of the paintings. And now in the room, you see there's paintings here, but they look kind of old. They are landscapes. And you have a feeling they're a bit destroyed by humidity and age. They might have been here before. And the two men sit you in a chair, and one of them removes the stake from your heart.
There's like a little bit of motion as I sort of come to, and then I just sort of watch them very closely. I don't really otherwise react.
So you look around a bit. They sort of step away. You see in front of you, coming sort of from around you, from a different part of the room, is a tall man with broad shoulders, wearing an embroidered shirt and a long sheepskin coat. He has white mustache and beard and white hair as well, absolutely milk white. And as you're there, he gives you a nod.
I will nod back to him.
There's a moment of silence, after which he says, "The lady will see you shortly. Do you require sustenance?"
I sort of focus on the feeling, and I guess I could eat, but it's not particularly pressing. So I think I just slowly shake my head.
All right then. If you change your mind, we can provide for our guests.
I sort of bow my head in thanks, but I'm still sort of not speaking for now. I think it's been a couple of days of not really speaking to people, so it feels a bit
day and a bit.
Yeah, a day and a bit, but it still feels a bit weird to be moving again. I feel like the full day felt a lot longer since there was literally nothing to do. Yeah, just sort of nod. And I'm just kind of adjusting to the situation, since I'm not entirely clear what brought me here. And I feel some caution looking at this man, but I haven't interacted with him a huge amount otherwise, so I will simply be polite.
And he makes a gesture at which the men who brought you here just leave and close the door behind them. And then he just stands there. I'm not quite looking at you, more looking at the door in the corner, just leading to another room. And waits in the silence as well for a moment.
I think I spend a moment watching him, and I will activate aura perception again on him.
Roll perception and empathy. Difficulty 8.
Oh, okay. 3 successes.
Then you see he's fully pale aura. You see that he's calm. There's he's pretty settled emotionally. He's calm. There's some relief going on there. There is certain watchfulness, almost like he's always on alert. And you see the dark veins indicating a diablerie running through his aura.
Okay. In which case I sort of sit back and just listen to the sounds around me and sort of feel the energy of the room and the space. And I'm kind of taking in the differences between being I'm presuming downstairs, and being here. Just
it's different here. Here you see footsteps somewhere around the house and voices. You again, people seem to speak in a language you don't understand. But it's not all moans and scraping. It's not necessarily voices that indicate pain. It's someone shouting to somebody. There's people who seem to be having a conversation. Someone laughs a little bit. You do hear like a scream and someone begging in Polish at some point, and someone else just laughing. But it's different. It's less still in its pain.
And I just sort of, like I said, I just take it in and adjust to the change.
And after a while, the man turns to you again and says, "You brought back the young one."
I sort of nod because that feels familiar, but
He's changed, but it's nothing that can't be repaired. Unless there is a deeper damage. Do you know?
I try to focus on what he's referring to, and I'll spend a point of willpower to try to unlock whatever memories I have relating to that.
Well, then you remember everything about Arek.
okay, wonderful.
So when he's talking about the change and something deeper, does that feel like it's connected to the marks the Tremere left on him?
You're not sure. Now that you remember, these marks just appeared clearly as part of whatever subterfuge was going on. But you don't know what they do. You're not sure. You feel he might refer to that or something else that might have been done. You feel like he's hinting at some sort of thing that might have been done to Arek. Or maybe the way he's changed for being captured.
Well, then I'll say the only change I was aware of was the marks that were left on him. But if there's something deeper, well, the dragon is skilled at weaving things back together.
That she is. And then he pauses for a moment and says, "You can go in to see her now." And opens the door for you.
I'd quite like to rapidly forget some things real quick, if possible.
You can't quite.
I can't.
Do that.
Wonderful.
You can start. I mean, it will start fading, but you can't, decide to forget everything.
Cool. Great. I love that. Be playing in spicy mode then.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I do love that.
So many spicy things happening.
Okay. And you start walking in. And you walk, you sort of recognize through your memory being less hazy now. A long room, large one, with works woven out of skin and bone displayed on the walls. The light is on here. You can see the display very clearly. There is some wooden sculptures too, but less of them. And you see, deeper in the room, Lady Leokadia, dressed in a red dress, wearing what looks like red opera gloves, but as you come closer, you realize that her hands are stained with blood as she's working on an abstract sculpture. As you're coming closer, with things beginning to fade in your head, but not quite faded yet. And I think this is a great moment to finish for tonight.
So much drama happening. It's definitely not gonna end bad for us.
No, never. It's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for running
this.
and for playing.
And thank you to everyone who's been watching. We hope you enjoyed it. It went more spicy than I expected in this episode. So I hope you will join us again to see how that turns out for our kindred at the next session, which will be on the 8th of October in 2 weeks at the same time, 6:30 p.m. British summer time still, I think. Yes. On the Lamias channel. We hope to see you here with us again then. And until then, keep well and good night.
Good night.
Right.